Hey everybody, Alex here for Nerdy Inc. coming at you with another episode of Our Favorite Frontier, the only Star Trek podcast on the internet, hosted by me and Nick. Hey, Nick.
Hey, Alex.
We're just not doing anything normal today.
Pardon?
He's just like, hey, Alex, and then there's awkward silence.
Yeah, I mean, said hey.
I guess that's fair.
That's fair.
Speaking of things that are really weird and out of the ordinary, we watched the episode Where Silence Has Lease.
Captain's log, stardate 42193.6. We're on a long reach toward the Morgana quadrant, a section of the galaxy which is yet to be visited by a manned Federation vessel. We are using the time to further detail the charts of this region.
Nick, what did you think of Where Silence Has Lease?
I honestly was very confused.
Understandable.
Like the whole time. Like honestly, don't have me explain this one because I don't know if I can. If you explain it, maybe I'll understand what was happening, but I was really confused pretty much the whole time.
That would make sense that you were confused because the doesn't make any sense. I will explain what happened, and then I will make a similar comparison that should make the whole thing make sense to you, okay?
Okay, I'm here.
So they're flying through space, and they come up with a void of nothing, which doesn't make any sense whatsoever. And to be fair, Wesley pointed that out when he said, if there's nothing there, then we should be able to see through it. But instead, we're seeing nothing, which doesn't make any sense. And the Enterprise sends a couple probes into it, and they disappear. And so Picard's like, yeah, let's go take a closer look. They fly closer to it, and then, shocker, they get engulfed in the nothing. And they do all this test, and they're like, oh, we should, let's warp out of here. And they can't go anywhere when they warp. And they said, all right, let's leave a buoy and see if we can go somewhere. And they end up going in a circle. A Romulan warbird comes up. They try to blow it up, and they can't. Well, they do, but it blows up very easily, and doesn't leave any debris. And then another spaceship that looks like the Enterprise flies up. Worf and Riker go to it, and weird shit happens. Eventually, this baby-face motherfucker named Nagulum?
With silver paint on his face.
Yes, a baby that had been horribly, horribly tortured by painted silver comes up, says, yo, I'm studying you. He basically does exactly what Q does in Encounter at Farpoint. Judges them, blah, blah, blah. Picard says, we're going to blow up the ship if you don't let us go. And then with 10 seconds left, Nagulum is like, all right, fine, you can go. They leave, and then that's the whole episode. Now, the reason you were confused is because there's lots of weird, trippy shit going on. And I submit to you...
Don't tell me why I was confused.
Okay.
Don't tell me why.
All right, fine. This might clear things up.
Thank you.
What was going on in the void, specifically on the other starship, not the Enterprise, but the other one that Riker and Worf go on to. This whole episode was basically the Crystal King's Palace of Star Trek episodes.
Yes.
With just... Sometimes there were mirror things happening, but the mirror doesn't make sense because sometimes they're enemies, but then sometimes it's just a mirror, and there's all sorts of crazy shit going on. That's what this episode felt like to me, was we were watching the Star Trek version of Crystal King, the 7th chapter of Paper Mario on the N64.
Which you can watch on Alex's Let's Play Paper Mario.
I did a Let's Play of that. That was a while ago. That was over a year ago.
I remember, because I watched it.
Yeah.
Specifically those episodes.
Indeed. So yeah, that's kind of what happened.
But was Riker gets back on the ship and he starts acting super erratic. When he was on the ship, when he came back, when he beamed back, was that Riker the whole time? Or was that an imposter Riker?
No, it was Riker.
Because he didn't seem himself at all.
That's what happens when you're written poorly.
Okay, that makes sense.
Just because these episodes look a little bit nicer and Worf has nicer head makeup doesn't mean that they're any less stupid. And this episode,
I think that's my problem. I think I was expecting it to be a lot better, and then you're right. It's not any better.
Here's a rule that I invented today about how to tell if a problem in Star Trek is interesting or stupid. If the music is weird 80s synth, then it's stupid, and if the music is orchestral, then it's good.
Okay, I guess we'll have the
Alex's law of Star Trek, because I can't think of any dumb synth music any point after season 2, because it's all orchestral at that point. So, that's when it's good.
Let's talk about some aspects at the beginning, which I feel like they did the holodeck thing as a prelude to Riker and Worf going on to the other ship.
Yes, it was showing how they work together in a conflict.
Okay. Worf clearly has some issues.
That bloodthirst, man. Klingons are bloodthirsty.
He was crazy, and then he got all worked up on the ship, obviously. It makes sense. He was getting really pissed off about the fact that there's a mirror world.
Mm-hmm.
He's fucking nuts. Also, they really need to work on their fight choreography, because that was just embarrassing when they were trying to kill Skeletor there. And it's just, like, is it because I'm spoiled with, modern technology and the way things look and modern choreography? Because, the show came out 30 years ago. Am I spoiled at that fact, or did they just do a really bad job? I can't tell. Because I feel like I've seen older movies like that, and it's been good.
It's a little bit of both. I'd say it will maybe get 20% better, and you'll have to lower your expectations 80% to give us. I guess it doesn't need to sum up to 100, does it? Because no, it never gets great. It just gets a little. I think they realize in later episodes that it looks bad, but because they don't really have the budget to afford much else, they just sort of shoot it in a way that looks a little less dumb.
Okay.
Like they'll get a little more up close, so that way you can't see how much room the actors have to work with, and they'll play around with it. But no matter the time or the place, Star Trek characters will always think it's a good idea to put both of their hands together in a fist and swing it around and hit someone in the back. That for some reason remains a staple of 22nd century fighting, 23rd century fighting.
It's a phenomenon.
It is. It's sweeping the galaxy.
Okay. They talked about flat Earth theory, and I'd like to get a guest on the phone.
We're gonna get Zach on the phone.
We're gonna get Zach on the phone.
Okay.
I'm calling him right now. I don't know how it's gonna sound through my speaker. Can you hear that?
Yes.
Okay. If it doesn't work, I'm gonna call him back.
Okay. Zach is Nick's twin brother. You can find him on some of our Goons Play Games episodes. He shows up in Nerdy Inc. now and again.
And no, he doesn't know he's gonna be on the show.
Good.
Hello?
Okay, call him one more time.
He just said hello.
That was his thingamajigger, his voicemail.
Oh, he's one of those people.
Yeah.
Hello?
Hi, welcome to our favorite frontier, the only Star Trek podcast hosted by Nick and Alex. How are you doing today, Zach?
I'm doing all right.
Okay, so we are watching. Alex, say what episode we're watching.
We're discussing the episode where silence has lease.
Where silence has lease. Zach can't hear Alex right now, but I will interpret what Alex says. So, where silence has lease is the second episode of season 2. Are you familiar with this episode?
No.
Okay, well, we called you because you are the leading expert on flat earthers.
I am not.
Okay,
I'm not a flat earther. I told you guys this many times. I don't believe the Earth is flat. The Earth is round.
Okay, so there's an interesting conversation between Riker and Picard in this episode, where they are talking about going through a empty void, and they're talking about how crazy it was back in the day that they thought the Earth was flat, and that they were that boats thought they would fall off the edge of the Earth. Now, as a flat earther, you know that that's not what you guys actually believe, correct?
Well, that's what no one believes.
What is the theory on what the flat earthers believe on that?
The theory that a flat earther believes that there's a giant ice wall that surrounds the planet, but I don't believe
What is that? What is that giant ice wall?
I don't know. It surrounds the circumference of the Earth.
Would you say that's like Antarctica type thing?
Flat Earthers believe that would be Antarctica.
As a flat earther, you do believe that.
I do not believe that, but that's what they believe.
Okay, thank you for joining us today.
Oh, don't call me.
Okay. Thank you again. Bye-bye. Well, that was very informative. Thanks, Zach.
Zach is a flat earther.
That was good. It was good that they talked about that.
Yes.
I knew calling a leading expert would help us out today.
Yes. So, ultimately, they find a void in space, and Data suggests that they have left their dimension to go to no dimension. And I feel like this happened one time in season 1, as well as right now, where I feel like they had this idea on paper to question something, but it doesn't make any sense when you think about it in any way. Which is the time in season 1, which is when they said this is an inorganic life form, but it's different than an artificial life form. I was something I couldn't wrap my head around what the difference was between those two. This is the same. This is the same case where you can't be nowhere. Like I don't think it's possible to not be in odd dimension unless you're the aliens from Indiana Jones and the Crystal Skull, but no one wants to be those.
No one wants to talk about that.
Yeah. Talk about what?
I thought we were talking about Star Trek.
Yes. So they go into this black void. Can I give a minor technical gripe?
Go for it.
They say they're in a void. There's nothing in there. But there's clearly space clouds because there's different color. Like it should have been just black. But there was...
To be a void,
yeah,
that would be correct.
But there was little like curvatures of purplish blue. And so I'm like, this isn't a void. There's clouds. Am I wrong for being pissed about that?
No. There's a void.
Good. Because that's in the episode. There's an episode of Star Trek Voyager where they go into a void also. That's a little bit different than this situation. And in that void, everything is black. There's just black everywhere because that's what a void is.
What's up with the doctor? New doctor.
Yes.
I've had some questions about her.
I will
They
gladly
made it seem
answer that.
They made it very strange. One, she's a fucking racist.
She's
against
so
Data.
racist. She's so racist.
I mean, if androids are a race, she's a fucking racist.
Yes.
If androids are not a race, I still feel that way.
Yeah.
She's a piece of shit, and she's no Beverly. Oh, how I miss Beverly.
Yes.
Then we get to babyface motherfucker.
Mm-hmm.
Silver rainbow motherfucker. And he questions her, like, being. It's like she's not human because she doesn't challenge Deanna Troi.
Uh-huh.
But she challenges her. And then she does that weird flail thing, which I don't understand why she did that. But is she not human? Is she a self-hating racist?
No, she is human. I think like Data mentioned later, he was just confused about how she's built differently, and he didn't understand the concept of gender until they explained that's what the difference was. And I believe she flailed because that was him scanning her in some way.
Because he killed the red shirt dude.
Yes, he killed the red shirt, which if you go on your GIF search and type Star Trek, that's a good one that shows up. His death scene.
Okay. But she's not like a robot?
Nope.
But why didn't he question Deanna Troi? Why did he say there are two people on this ship who don't match the genetic makeup?
And you want to know what's even weirder is that Deanna Troi should have called out Worf and Deanna Troi because they're genetically more different than Pulaski and Picard. Because Pulaski just has different reproductive organs, but is largely the same genetically because they're the same species. Worf is a Klingon and she's a Betazoid. They're far more different. Babyface should have called them both out.
Yeah, I found that very weird. I was going to make a comment about how Data didn't understand what death was after being at Yara's funeral, but then it wasn't really him.
I to be honest, they successfully got me too, because I didn't remember that. And so when Data calls Picard Jean-Luc, I was like, that's weird. Why would Data do that? And then it was revealed shortly thereafter that something was amiss.
Yeah, I was like, how? We mean you don't know what death is. I know you don't understand a lot of things about emotion, but you understand concepts.
Yes.
So I caught on early that was being weird.
What I actually went back and rewatched this one clip. What the hell was Picard fucking talking about when Data asked him what he felt was death? It felt to me like Gene Roddenberry knew that Picard logically should be an atheist, but that they couldn't say on TV in the 80s that their protagonist is an atheist, so Picard had to say the most fucking word vomit gobbledygook nonsense about what death is.
He basically just described people believe in heaven or people believe in nothing. That's not really describing what death is. That's describing what the afterlife theory is.
Well, yeah. Well, no, but then he goes, well, I believe that reality is we have this existence and there's so much amazingness in the universe there's this reality that's greater than reality. And so, like, he just said nonsense.
Ugh.
So.
When does he leave again? When does Gene Roddenberry leave again?
For the most part, he leaves at the end of this season, but he takes a lesser role this season, and he's basically gone next season.
That's fun.
Yes. And so I just want to reiterate one more time for the audience that fucking Nigellum
is a babyface motherfucker.
He's a babyface motherfucker. But
Silver rainbow looking fuck.
But at the end of the day, he literally says the exact same thing that Q says. He's the exact same function of Q, is to basically, from the writer's room, get on their high horse about how bad humans are. He goes, you're selfish, you're impulsive, but you cling to this loyalty. You're so dumb, humans. You're dumb. I'm better. And it's like, you're doing the same bit that you did with Q.
And at least, everyone else can put on proper face makeup, you baby face motherfucker.
I've been trying to figure this out. I honestly would guess that probably is a baby. Because if you go back and rewatch it, his mouth doesn't move. They edited it to move.
I really don't believe they put silver makeup on a baby, Alex.
But humans don't look like that. Adults don't look like
that.
It was
also like an alteration, like it was all trippy and shit.
That's true.
What's the episode called again? Silence?
Where silence has lease. Sorry, no. It's where silence has lease.
You have to say it like that?
Every time.
I'm going on the Wikipedia. I'm seeing what's up with that. What's up with this motherfucker?
Is
looking at a picture right now.
Nigellum.
It's not a baby, clearly. It's clearly an adult person. To think it's a baby makes no sense.
Well, I don't know. To me, it seems like a dumb thing that some producer would do. Is be like, hey, let's get my kid on the show. And they do that thing.
Well, let's look up the cast.
The cast has the voice credited as Nigellum.
Well, I would think that I don't even know who the actor is. They don't say it.
Yeah, he's basically he's been on a couple TV shows. He was a TV guest star basically.
Yeah. There was an actor named Richard Magellan who they named the character after for whatever reason, or Mulgullen.
Yes, because Nigellum is Mulligan backwards.
Mulligan. I don't know how to read.
You'll
learn that. You'll learn that.
Yes. Ultimately, this episode was just fucking boring. It felt like a because at least with a Q episode, if this had been a Q episode, at least we would have got to see John Delancey do goofy Q stuff.
And yeah, I feel like Q could be a lot better of a character, and I guess we see him later, you said?
Yes.
So I'm expecting good things from him.
Yeah, and he grows and changes and takes a couple different... When I say takes different forms, I don't mean he's a shapeshifter, but I mean he takes different roles, basically. Where he becomes more of a this or that. But yeah, this wasn't nearly as fun as a Q episode. It was boring. It scientifically didn't make any sense, and it made me want to play Paper Mario.
I like Paper Mario.
You should play Paper Mario.
I played it a few years ago. It took me like 2 days to beat it.
Yeah, it's a really fast game once you know the bit.
I wish I could get 1,000 Year Door and just fuck with that.
Yeah. Now we have one other quick thing we got to review real quick. Now that you've seen it. How fucking good was Annihilation? It was so good.
Are we talking about this on the podcast?
No, I just wanted to point out right now that I saw Annihilation and I loved it. I loved everything about it. Wanted to get on record. Let's sign off. But first, we will see you next week when we discuss what I think is a delightful episode. I have problems with it, but I'll save them for next week. The episode, Elementary, Dear Data.
I'm assuming he's going to do a Sherlock Holmes thing.
He's going to do a Sherlock Holmes thing.
I saw that in like the thumbnail on Netflix. I'm like, oh, okay.
Yeah.
He's done it before, so he'll do it again.
I think it's adorable.
Well, now that I like Data now, I think I'm going to like it more than I did the first time around.
Yes. So, tune in next week when we discuss that episode. And for now, like, comment, subscribe, all that good stuff is much appreciated. And we will see you next time.
Thank you. Bye-bye.
Our Favorite Frontier is hosted by Alex Russo and Nick Caladona, edited by Alex Russo, and produced by Nerdy Inc. Be sure to follow us on YouTube to catch all of our videos, as well as like us on Facebook, Twitter, and whatever other social media we have.